This is me writing my new book. And this. And this. I'm using an ancient technique with a modern twist to do it. It's oral storytelling with a digital transcription, also known as dictation. Back in the day, if you wanted to dictate your work, you could pay someone to transcribe your words for you while you spoke. But with the wonders of modern technology, dictation is now more accessible and popular than ever, allowing you to put words on paper from just about anywhere, unshackling you from your desk. And I'm keen to give it a try. I find that when I'm writing, I spend so much time sitting down, and I want to make sure that my passion for storytelling does not take a negative toll on my health or my mobility. So I'm just going to record a little bit while I try this whole speech-to-text thing. So my setup is I've got my mic connected to my phone because I think the phone records speech-to-text fairly well, actually better than I've experienced on Google Drive before, because it puts in punctuation. So I'm using this to record my speech to text, and then I also have that same Google Drive document pulled up on my computer, which I'm just going to look at and sort of see it typing as it goes because it's easier than to look at my phone. And so we'll just see how that goes. I'm nervous because this is going to be so bad. But it's okay. I can always go back and edit it later. I just hope it's not a colossal waste of time. Claire rubbed her eyes as she walked into the main room. The golden glow of a single candle flickered on the walls around her. Reaching up for her father lifted her into his arms. So the verdict so far is that it does a pretty good job with punctuation and the words. I did ask it to do a line indent and it did, and then it jumped back to where it was before, so I'm not so sure about that. But I'm just gonna turn out the lights, and I'm trying to figure out if looking at the words I've written is more hindrance or help. Right now it feels more like a hindrance, so I'm just gonna kind of block out all the distractions and see if I can kind of get into a little bit of a flow and start telling the story. Hopefully it'll be good, but I'm just gonna keep practicing. I need to put some laundry away, and I want to see how it goes, trying to use this time a little bit to practice dictating. And so what I've got, ooh, that's cool, is I've got this voice recorder app on my phone, and it's not only recording the words that I'm saying, but it's transcribing it as it goes. That's wild. Very cool. So then I can just hopefully copy and paste that into my Google Doc once I have finished recording. Claire looked up at the stars above her. The stars burned bright and clear against the deep blue of the night sky, and the deep shadows closed in around them. But Claire was not afraid. The pale outline of a ring of white mushrooms was barely visible. Her father skirted around the ring of mushrooms, careful not to set foot inside the fairy ring. Her father stopped abruptly and held up a hand. Claire fell silent, her ears straining for what her father had detected. There, in the distance, came the sound, the howl of a wolf. I got a little bit done while I was hanging up laundry. It went okay. I think there's definitely parts of it that, as I get into the flow of it more and more, will go better. It helped to be up and moving and doing something, and definitely my brain checks into the visuals and stuff of what I'm trying to describe, what the scene looks like, and then it's just making sure that I put words to what I'm seeing. I'm gonna go take a look and see what that process looks like of cleaning it up a little bit. I've got the transcript of everything that I recorded right here, so I'm just gonna see if I can copy it, select all, copy, and then go over to my Google Doc and edit. It has the timestamps in it still, so I'll definitely have to clean that up. But there we go. And now I can pull it open on my computer. So that's cool. I'm gonna quickly clean it up and then see how many words I ended up with. Okay, so I had, in 10 minutes, I got 600 words. That's not bad. And I was able to hang up my laundry at the same time. So I think for a first time, that was a great first go of it. I'm gonna really like this method. Claire clung to the branches of the tree. The night grew cool, but still she did not leave her spot. Silence fell, and the only sound to be heard was the wind rustling through the branches of the trees. Her fingers grew stiff and cramped from clinging to the branches. Her feet ached, but still she stayed where she was. She called Blinky, hoping that he might come out of the center of the fairy circle. He just baaed at her. Claire reeled the rope in again and threw the rope once more, praying that it would land somewhere useful. Claire grabbed him by the horns and pulled him. Inch of her clothing was soaking wet. Her mother stood by the fire, stirring a large pot. Warm aroma of it permeated the house. But Blinky wouldn't budge. With a toss of his head, he almost pulled her into the fairy circle. Claire gasped and let go of the rope, her toes teetering at the edge of the fairy circle. So, some things that I've noted while I have been trying out dictation. When I was dictating while on my walk, I noticed that my surroundings often reminded me to describe the surroundings of the scene that I was writing. I can often get so wrapped up in the action and the dialogue that I forget a little bit to set the scene in my earlier drafts, but this time it felt more natural because I was having visual input of different settings all the time, so it would remind me to put visual settings into my book. Also, because I was walking in a woodsy place and that scene was also taking place in a woodsy place, what I was seeing would often inspire my description, which was really handy. It's like when you're painting from a reference photo versus just from your imagination, you have a lot more details to draw from to put into your painting. And it was a similar experience for me with writing. I had details to draw from to put into my story. One thing that's going to take some time to get used to is the pace of dictation. When I'm writing, oftentimes my hands are still catching up to what my brain is doing, so my brain sometimes has time to think. But with dictation, I can say the words as fast as my brain can think them, and then I will have longer gaps where I am just thinking of what the next words are going to be. And then, with the silence, I start to think, oh no, there are no more words. No more words are coming. Whereas before, I had some buffer time for my brain to come up with the next words. So that's taking some time to get used to, just being patient with it, sitting with it in the silence, and being okay with waiting for the next words to come. One thing that I do love about dictation is that the tool for writing is always in my hands. Here it is. I love going on walks, and I often am daydreaming and thinking about my story while I'm walking. And sometimes I have come up with the perfect conversation, the perfect argument, and then I get back home and I try to write it down, and the key words and arguments that whole conversation turned on, I don't remember those ones. So it's never quite as snappy, never quite as good, and it never quite goes exactly where I want it to because there were key arguments that I just couldn't remember. So the idea that if I am having an argument bubbling up in my mind between two characters, I can pull up my phone and get it recorded. That's really encouraging, especially once I get more comfortable with the idea of processing my words through my mouth and not letting that distract me. I am looking forward to what it will be like to be able to get those conversations word perfect and not have to worry about being able to recreate them later. And lastly, one of the biggest obstacles that I think I ran into while doing dictation was I felt more afraid to make mistakes. When you're seeing the words on paper, you're able to move them around, shuffle them, change this word, change that word. It's very much material in your hands that you're able to shape and mold and craft. But when you're dictating, you don't have the ability to change things in the moment. You don't have the ability to see what you just wrote to inspire your next words. If you want to change something, you have to say, no, not this, I'm going to do that. Note, do that for later. I don't know, something that definitely at the beginning I struggled with was feeling like it had to be word perfect the first time, and then I would wait a long time until I had words to say. I'm learning and working on just getting into the flow of saying words, and then I can always go back and adjust them later. But I also think that if I can get into the habit of using this method to get words out, eventually I will get to that same level of comfort that I am when I'm typing, and I'll be able to do it anywhere. So yeah, that's been the one struggle, is being afraid of saying the wrong words or the lack of malleability that there is in the moment when you're dictating because you don't have the words in front of you. It's all still a work in progress, but I'm learning, and I am very excited for the potential and the possibility of this new method of words on paper. I'm going to keep trying it. I'm going to keep using it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you like videos about learning and the learning journey and improving skills that you already have, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because that is what we're doing here. Jesus loves you, and I do too.